There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? It's your boy Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG Gift and a Gift. Hey, I just personally want to take the time to tell each and every one of you, thank you for giving me your eyes and your ears once again as we get ready to dive deep into some inspiration that I pray will plant like a seed in your mind and assist you in becoming a greater version of yourselves. So I'm super excited about episode 25. We got my man Manteo Mitchell in the house. He's coming to bring you guys value. And you know that our motto on GNG Podcast, before I bring him on, is that we're all gifted differently to make a difference. So if you're a student, athlete, parent, teacher, youth advocate, student in whatever grade level, and you're tuning in to us, let us know that you're here. Share this bad boy out as we're going to dive into the theme of you can be successful if you truly want to and can dictate yourself to your craft. Dedicate yourself to your craft. And my man Manio is going to shine some light on that theme. And before, again, I introduce him, I want to go over to the mission of this platform. And it is to provide tips and techniques for young males as they strive in growing their personal development. And I want each and every one of you to take the daily challenge with me of becoming a passionate visionary who is determined to leave a legacy for themselves by adopting unwavering life values and serving others in the area of gifting led by God. So that's the mission that we're on. Go ahead and grab your pen and paper beforehand because my man Manteo is going to come on here and shine some light. I want to read off this short bio and we're going to get him on this live stream. If it's inspiration, motivation, or anything in between, look no further than Manteo Mitchell for it. Though known for his heroic efforts at the 2012 Olympic Games, Manteo has broken the mold when it comes to being an elite athlete. It's what he does off the track that truly inspires the world. Him being a father, him being an Olympic silver medalist, him being a U.S. champion and a world champion. And he is blessing us with his presence. My man Manteo Mitchell, you are live on GNG Podcast live stream. Are you ready to get it, King?
Hey, let's get it, man. Let's get it. I'm excited.
Hey, thank you for this shining your light for the audience. And I know that was short and sweet what I read off. Is there anything else you would like the audience to know about you, Manteo?
Nope. That's perfect. I feel like, the way you live your life, that's all people need to know. So yeah, we good. Leave it there.
Beautiful. Now, I know you're grinding as a professional athlete, entrepreneur. Can you give the audience a little bit more background of how you kind of got to the point that you're at in 2020? Kind of share your story with us.
Yeah, for sure. First and foremost, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you. I know we've been good friends for quite some time. So being able to see you and see your platform grow and finally be a part of it, I'm excited, man. So I just this is not programmed or anything like that. I just wanted to say that because, brother, you're an amazing man yourself. So I am honored to even have the space shared with you. So I wanted to say that before I got into my own spiel. So anyways, I'm from a very small town, Mooresboro, North Carolina, right outside of Rutherford County, in between, right in Cleveland County. So I grew up in a drug infested neighborhood at that time. Didn't really know how I was going to, expand into being the person that I am today. But by the grace of God and by virtue of having a great system around me, I made it out. And not a lot of people can say that, but when you surround yourself around the right people, those things can happen. But to get to where I'm at today took a lot of grinding. As with anything, things take time. Things do come overnight sometimes, but for most people, they have to grind it out. So definitely a testament of hard work, dedication, motivation, um, a stern belief in Christ and God, and just having a blessing upon a blessing upon a blessings, placed on my life throughout the adversity, the tragedy, all that good stuff, or excuse me, all that bad stuff. It just didn't amount to all the good things that, God has blessed me with, family, friends, associates, affiliates that put me in great positions to set me up to be successful. So that has a lot to do with where I am right now.
Thank you for sharing that, Manteo. And me and you, we have similar stories of kind of growing up in that drug infested environment. And and what I'm hearing from you is you didn't allow your circumstances to keep you from being a phenomenal individual that you are right now. And you hit it key, or surrounding yourself around people that was holding you accountable and really installed hope into you. And I'm sure that goes from your parents, coaches, people that really believed in you, and it helped you make that right choice on getting to where you are right now. So thank you
Right,
for sharing that.
right.
Yeah, and kind of take us back. So I know one of the biggest headlines is in 2012, you sustained that injury during the Olympic Games. Can you kind of talk about how you overcame that adversity in that moment, and kind of what
Yeah.
happened?
So in 2012, for those who may not know, who are watching and may not know the gist of everything, I was running for Team USA in the 4x400 meter relay in Great Britain, or the UK. And I was the first runner. Gun goes off and I'm running, and things just don't feel right. So I get halfway through my race, one lap, and my left fibula bone snaps in half. So, at that time, again, I said in the preface, like, adversity, something that I've had to deal with, all my life, in both on and off the track, in the classroom, on the field, in on the track, just in everyday life situations. We all are faced with that. So in this given situation, I had to either keep running or just let it all go and just stop and let all that hard work and dedication and all the things that I'd done to lead up to that very pivotal moment, the highest that you can go, in your sporting realm for all sports. We, like, of course, not the NFL, that's Super Bowl, all those different things, but the highest that you can go, somewhere that I never imagined that I would ever be. But when I finally woke up from the dream and went after it, now it became a reality. So I was like, okay, I can't let anyone down, and I definitely can't let myself down, and all those people that believed in me and got me to this point. So that's why I continue to keep running. And then, the rest is just history. But the thing is that one moment is basically, people always say they have a turnaround in their life. That was my turnaround. That was, and it was something that was very, very difficult at first, because it wasn't something that I like prayed for or wished for or wrote down on a vision board and said, hey, I want to go to the Olympic Games in 2012, break my leg and make something special out of it. I didn't plan on that. So
Mhm.
I was kind of like pushed into this situation where I began to motivate and inspire people that I've never even met before. And I'm sure you can speak on that as well. Like, there are people that, we've touched and maybe even had just a general conversation with, or maybe even something like this platform, but it's gonna be special to them. It's gonna change them. It's gonna spark, something in them that makes them have that same turnaround that I had. And sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's physical. For me, it was physical. But again, I was pushed into this platform, had no idea that overnight that I was gonna become an international icon. I had no idea.
Mhm.
So I say I was forced into it, but I gradually learned to accept the role that I think God had really placed on my life, because that was my calling. I didn't know it, but it was written in my plan that way, and I had to accept it. And once I did, that's when everything started changing for me for the better.
Mhm. Dude, hopefully all of you guys took my advice, got your pen and paper, because he shared some gold there. Like, for sure, he dropped some jewels. And for some reason, Proverbs popped in my head whenever you were saying, like, obviously you dreamed of being in the Olympics, but you didn't dream for it to happen in the way that it happened with you breaking your leg. And in
Right.
Proverbs 19:21, it talks about how many plans are in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord will prevail. So
Right.
your plans, going to the Olympics, you was there, but that situation happened to make your story even greater, and for you to be able to give God glory during that adversity. And that's when
Right.
God can truly work to really get someone to lay out their full potential during tough times. And
Right.
like you said, man, you've changed so many people's lives just from that one instance, meaning like they look at you like, hey, if Manio can withstand and overcome that situation, I can have some hope to be able to overcome my situation, whether it's relationships, like you said, emotional, financial, being an athlete, looking at another athlete really push through that adversity when they team members really needed them. So, dude, like, and it's still touching people. You touch me by even saying that whenever we have our adversity, really looking for opportunities to shine our light and to show God glory and to really push for greater heights, because that's how we truly build relationships, and that's how we truly inspire people to unlock the gifts that's inside of them. Because
Right.
like the motto of this show, we're all gifted differently to make a difference. And you're so gifted that you was able to persevere during that adversity, and you're going to allow someone else's gift be unlocked and be able to shine just from your story, because that's your story, and only you uniquely can share that story and be able to hit people that I'm not going to be able to hit, or the next individual down the road is not going to be able to hit, because that's you and that's your story, and that's how you persevered and shine your light for other people to see. So that's
Right.
good stuff, man.
Yeah. I feel like it's and just something just to add to that last part you said. Like we as individuals, especially in the social media age, I think that a lot of kids and just the younger generation, they see all these, and I'm just going to say examples, whether they're good or bad. They see all these examples and these leading lights, and they're afraid to express themselves and be themselves in the moment. And a lot of times these images are false. They're falsified, and it's something that does take time and does take a lot of hard work and dedication to build. However, you only see the finished product, but they don't see, they don't see the turmoil or the individual struggles day in and day out that someone like yourself or like me may have. They only see the finished product. So I want to say to anyone who's listening, it can be young, old, doesn't matter who you are. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us have been on a road. We're literally on a road right now. And the thing is, there's going to be a time where you're going to come to a bend in the road. There's going to be two different ways you can go. There may be more than two ways. I've been on that part of the road. I'm still on the road right now. We're all on one road, and the end destination is the same place. We all want to get to that one place. However, there's many ways to get to Charlotte, North Carolina. There's many ways to get, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm getting at. So what I'm saying is, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes, but do them wholeheartedly. Like, don't follow in the footsteps of someone else if you don't really know their true journey. I feel like like God works on all of us individually, but at the end of the day, we all have that same purpose and same goal, and that's to be of His image and to make it to that golden gate. Like, but somehow, in some way, like, we're all gonna get there differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all face different types of adversity. We all face different types of turmoil and the naysayers and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you know your purpose and you're driven behind that, like, you can't take no for an answer, and you're always going to be successful in some capacity if you really just go out of that, like, wholeheartedly.
I really like that, and I like John Maxwell's work, man. He's a leadership guru.
Oh yeah,
and some of the and a quote that he said popped in my head whenever you were sharing that whole concept. He was like, have your goals in concrete. Like, your goals don't change, but have your plans in the sand. And that was so phenomenal, because if you think about the beach, like, if you write in the sand, at times that wave gonna come up, right? And or if you're
Right.
close enough to that water, right, and it's gonna remove what you have written in that sand, but we can't give up, right? We got to continue to write until it's perfect and able to withstand and reach those goals as perfectly as we possibly can, right? So
Right.
write your goals in concrete and your plans in the sand. I think that's so paramount. And again, going back to that adversity, really seeking opportunities during those adverse times and not giving up, right? And that's one of the things that you didn't do. You didn't give up, even though you was injured. You knew that you know you had other people counting on you during that moment.
Right.
And I feel like that's even another eye opener with finding your why. You know, I talk about it in my book, Live, Learn, Lead Powerfully. It's easy for Chaz Jackson to give up on Chaz when it's all about me. But when you have other people depending on you and holding you accountable and looking for you to help them succeed, it that is a driven why. That's something
Right.
that helps contribute you to pushing forward even during times of your own personal injuries or doubts or frustration or sadness. Because again, like you said, off the camera, man, we all struggle. Ain't nobody perfect, right? I mean, we
Right.
all have our trials and tribulations. You know, no one is outside of those things, but what is your why? What's driving you to keep persevering during the adversity? And like you said, man, I'm sure your teammates, your family, your son, that helped you push to get through that injury, to kind of make it past that goal. But
Right.
but so, and it kind of brings me into, and I know you kind of covered some tips and techniques for young men to take, but what do you feel like right now, outside of what we already shared, is something that the youth struggle with in 2020?
Mm. Man, there's so much going on right now. Um, Regardless of your race, your creed, ethnicity, um, there are so many problems that folks are faced with right now in this day and time that I never thought that I would actually see. And I'm only 33 years old. I've seen a lot, but I never thought that I would see some of the things I'm seeing right now. And what's crazy is being in the public eye and being a public figure, like you get a lot of fan mail, and you get a lot, especially with social media now, you get a lot of messages from just random people who just want your input on something. And some of the things that I receive, it's like, man, you really go through that? Like, that really happened to you? And
Mm,
you're only 15, you're only 16 years old. Like, you got your whole life ahead of you, and it could have been taken away in this any given moment right here, yet you're still standing. And I'm like, man, what can I do to further help people understand that there's so much more to life than this or than that, and how to make them succeed? So I would say that my biggest takeaway and some of my biggest points are to really take the time to identify yourself. Um, and I think a lot of people, especially in the sporting realm of things, you get these young men. I go speak to kids all the time, and you get these young guys that come up to you, and they're like, "Man, I just want such and such to believe in me. I want this, I want that, I need this, I need that." But the one thing that they forget to do is to believe in themselves.
mm,
Um, and I'm like, how can you expect Chaz Jackson or Manteo Mitchell to believe in your craft if you first don't believe in it yourself?
mm.
And what
That's
I
so
try to
true.
do, yeah, there's three words that I live by, and a lot of people know me from these three words: faith, focus, finish. Now, faith, I've never been one. I've been saved since I was 7 years old. I've had my ups and downs in those years since 7 years old, but I can officially say that I came to Christ, to know Christ, when I was 7 years old, and I'm pretty sure
Mm.
that's a testament of growing up in a family that went to church every night and being a musician and all that stuff in the church, singing, all that good stuff. So I've known Christ for quite some time. I've had my mishaps, I've had my struggles, like we discussed, and we all do. However, I will say that the first word, faith, is, even if it's in Christ, or like I just mentioned, and just that small belief in yourself. Having that faith is the first step. And then you're able to do the second word, which is focus. Focusing on the primary task at hand. A lot of people have their hands in a lot of different buckets, and they wear a lot of different hats. I'm one of those people. And I'm sure you're one of those people too, especially with us with kids and things like that.
Right.
You wear many different titles, but you have to be persistent in the individual title that you hold. And you have to play your cards right. You have to be able to manage your time and all those different things. So having that faith, you're able to focus on the primary task at hand. And in doing so, you'll be able to finish anything that you start. So a lot of kids, they'll dive into some kind of sport or some kind of craft. And if it's not going their way, they're done with it. They're done with it. If they're not seeing the instant results, if it's not the 5-minute oatmeal, they don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want the instant grits. They don't want the 30-second. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want the stuff that takes a little bit of, they don't want the slow cooked meal. They don't want that. And I think that's a struggle for people right now, especially with the time that we're in with COVID pandemic and the presidential type stuff and politics, just to name two major things that are going on. People don't realize that things just take time. And you have to allow God to do his work on you. Because we're all built beautifully. We're all masterpieces. And sometimes you just go outside the lines, and that's when things don't look as good. So you just have to be able to just take the time to realize, hey, it's not working right now. However, if I'm persistent, if I really, like you said, have that goal concreted, not only here in my heart, but here in my spirit, in my mind, in my soul, and I write it down and I visualize it and I really go after it, that's when you see the results. That's when you see the cream of the crop. That's when you see the true success. But it feels so much better to have that grind and then see the benefit that comes out of that. And there's so much beauty in struggle. A lot of people don't agree with me on that, but there's so much beauty in the struggle. There's beauty for ashes at the end of the day. Just being able to explore something, and it may not go your way the way you want it, but at the end of the day, it works out for you because that's how God wanted it to work out for you. And then boom, you're blessed either way. So I think those are a few things that I think, like, kids and males, females, don't even matter, even adults at this time. If you could just take those key takeaways and kind of apply that to everyday situations, just, really taking the time to say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how I would like to do it, and pray on it. I'm a firm believer on prayer, man. Like I always say, prayer changes things. And when I was growing up in church, she's not my aunt, but we call her Aunt Nita. She used to sing this song called Prayer Changes Things. And it's like prayer will go changes things. And that's one of the things that, I've built on, especially with my son. We pray every single night. And just at random times, just so he'll know, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're faced with, you can always pray about it. And not just to pray for good things to happen, but to pray for those bad things that happen, to pray for, anything that could possibly happen, that it doesn't. And just to pray for and be thankful for everything. You know what I'm saying? Not just praising him when everything's good, but accepting when things aren't the best and just going from there. I think those are huge takeaways for, our generation, and even for ourselves. We struggle as well. We go through things, and you have to take a step back, and really just analyze things for a second, and don't be quick to pass judgment or to act upon something. Just give it time. I think those are key points.
Dude, I know you applauding me right now, whoever listening to this, that you got your pen and paper. If you didn't, again, go ahead and pause it, rewind it back. Listen to that last 5 minutes. Like, literally, like, Manteo was shining on the screen right now. You said so much. And I just want to go back to, man, I know you gotta sing some acapella for us out here. I know you sang, you thought about we're ready for it, man. We're ready for it. Because my man's multi-talented here. You can sing, athlete, entrepreneur. I know you do it all, man. So maybe you'll bless us with it. But you said so much meat and so much fruitful stuff. And even going back to the young people, like, struggle and the kids that I work with, dude, you hit it right on the money of that instant gratification. And I'm personally like, so at times, you know, I want that microwave meal. Like, you want things to happen right then and there. You don't want to go through that process. Everything is a process, and I have to renew my mind on this. Like, and I actually did it this week, is to stop looking at the scoreboard, right, and really get back to the grind, taking it one play at a time. Because too often we can look up at that scoreboard, and if the numbers are not in our favor, we want to quit. We want to, you know, throw in the towel. We don't want to finish that project. We don't want to go after that A whenever we're right at a B. We don't want to, you know, strive to make that relationship prosper. And that's two things that I've seen in our youth, young adults struggle with, is building those relationships and finding that identity, like you shared, that life fulfillment, right? Because again, that stuff takes time, and we really got to take that seriously. And I definitely, I love that faith focused finish, like getting kids focused on relationships and finding that life fulfillment, and knowing that it takes time to get good at that you know you have to, you know, take time to really learn and understand someone and truly connect. Like, that's not something that's going to be instant. If we can get our kids to understand that, that will be gold. I feel like that is 90% of the battle, to be honest. Like,
for sure.
Like for sure. So that's gold what you share.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that, bro, is there was a point in my life where I was ready to just leave from here. And just to put it in simplest terms, I was ready to go. And I had a conversation with one of my mentors and one of my best friends, my big bro. And he's like, just go to the Bible. Just go to the Bible and just try to figure it out. You know, talk to God about it, blah, blah, blah. And the first, I just literally just opened the Bible, and the first place I landed on, I just started reading. And it was, this is how Faith Focused Finish came to life. It was 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. And it says, "For I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith." All three words are in there. So I took it and I was like, okay, well, I need to have that faith first, then focus, and then finish came. But that intertwined in that whole little, that one little verse, that random verse that I just so happened to land my finger on, that's where Faith Focused Finish came from. And ever since then, that's where I go to if I have a struggle or anything like that. And it just reminds me, like you said, that little cleansing state. Like, sometimes the car gets dirty, you got to take it and wash it. You got to clean it off. You got to clean it off. And I think that's key for just everyday life. Like, everything's not going to be golden. It may look like it's golden on the outside, and you're looking in for at someone else's life. People probably think that my life is golden. It's not. I had stuff come up today, and people will never know about it. We talked about it a little bit, but people will never know about it because I wear a smile, or you make everything look so perfect. But no one's life is perfect. Don't be fooled. I can assure you, the devil is busy, son. Like, he is super busy.
Especially when you try to do the right things. Like, when you're in line with what God's called you to do, I'm telling you, the devil's coming after you.
Oh, yeah.
And if he's not coming after you, man, you're doing something wrong. Like,
for sure.
You're not in your call.
Yeah, like if I go through a little period of time where I wouldn't say nothing bad has happened, but something hasn't caused me to like overthink or do something, I'm like, oh no, I need something bad to happen. Like, I need to make sure that this is real life, and that I am solely focused on my task, and that God is at the center of all of that. So yeah, I try to keep close to that. Yeah, for sure.
Dude, you're killing it. And I know our theme is you can be successful if you truly want to and can dedicate yourself to your craft. Can you share one technique for a young male? What does that mean to you when you hear that theme?
Yeah, so for me, obviously people know that I'm in the Olympic realm of things, so I kind of take it from that example. Most people, on the outside looking in, think that the Olympic Games, you just show up and boom, you're there. It's a grind. It's a 4-year process. This happens every 4 years. Now, there are things that we do in between those times, like world championships, U.S. championships, diamond leagues, things like that for track. Just like basketball, NBA, there's 100 and something games a year, but at the end of the day, what they're trying to get is that world title at the end of the year, and that's what everybody sees. They don't see the 76 games you won before that 7-game series at the end of the season. So you have to respect the grind. There's always going to be a grind if there's something that you're going after, and then it makes it even harder when that same thing that you're going after, a million other people are trying to go after it too. So it's like, what am I going to do to stand out? Not to be cocky or conceited or anything like that, but what am I going to do to stand out, to show that I deserve to be where I want to be? I think that is how, young men should really look at, being dedicated to the craft. Just knowing that it's not going to happen overnight. It never does. Sometimes it does for some people, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really work out that way. You have to respect the grind. So again, it's 4 to 6 hours. I'll just use my example. 4 to 6 hours every single day, sometimes Sundays off, for a race every 4 years, if you think it's just the Olympics, that lasts 44 seconds.
Wow. I never looked at it like that.
So I'm going to say that one more time for people that are watching. 4 to 6 hours, 6 days a week. We'll just say 6 days a week for a race that takes place every 4 years. And that race lasts 44 seconds. Or if it's a relay, it lasts less than 3 minutes. That's called the grind. I don't know. It's really hard.
I'm writing that down. Like that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, because and it's hard for me to. It's not hard for me to explain it, but it puts people in awe because, like, I talk about it because I've been there before. I know, what it takes. I know the system that you have to have. I know the weight room and the biomechanics and the food that you have to eat. But that same thing is a grind for any other craft. If you want to be the best private or commercial pilot on the planet, you can't just show up and get on the plane. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work, and you have to learn the craft and master it. And then that's when you become the GOAT. That's when you become the GOAT, is when you master a craft and you go after it so hard that you eat, sleep, dream it, and you visualize it. And the same thing should be not only for our physical components, but for our spiritual components as well. Like, you can come to know Christ right now and he'll accept you as you are and you're good, but you can't just let it go. You have to keep pursuing it. You have to keep, feeding your mind, you're feeding your soul and feeding your spirit. You have to keep doing that. So yeah, just respecting that grind, man. That's where the craft mastering comes from.
Dude, that's really deep. And I know, let's go on the other side real quick. So I know that there's a parent, a coach, teacher that's listening to you right now. They're dealing with a student athlete. What tip will you give them to help their student kind of get on the right path of really conquering that craft and really being their greatest version of themselves? What tip would you give a coach, teacher, or parent? Yeah,
the first thing, there's two things that came to my mind like instantly, and this is on the fly. You caught me. The first thing that came to mind is, don't be afraid to let them make mistakes on their own and let them learn from those mistakes. I feel like, especially with my son, he's very, very talented and very, very intelligent. And sometimes he'll make a little mental mistake and I'll instantly just want to correct him. And I'm like, no, you know what? I need to let him, fix it on his own. So that way, if he approaches that road again, if he approaches that bend in the road again, now he'll know how to adjust and he'll know which way to go. He'll know how to fix that problem and not let it stress him out or overwork him. So that same thing and theme can be applied to everything. And then the second thing that came to mind was it's just something that I hear a lot from kids is they never listen to me. I always hear that. It's like parents just don't understand. I remember Will Smith had that song way back in the day. Parents just don't understand. And to be honest, as a parent, that is true. That is very true, and it's a sad truth, but it's an honest truth. We have to be able to, especially with us growing up, and even with our parents and things, like, it's different generations, so it's different types of learning mechanisms, different types of discipline, different types of terminology and verbiage and all these different things. So being able to listen, listen to understand, and not just listening to, oh no, I'm going to discipline you because back in my day we did this or we didn't do this. Well, this is not your day. This is their day.
Right,
You were just in it. You know what I'm saying? So just different things like that. I think for teachers, educators, ministers, coaches, especially parents, I feel like it's very important for us to be able to listen, to understand, and not just to listen, just to tolerate. Don't just listen just to be listening and then still do it your way. Sometimes your way is not going to work every time.
Right.
You have to be able to be applicable and be able to kind of like give and take. I think it's like the tug of war is a game we used to play way back. You got to be able to give some and take some. And I think that's how relationships flourish. That's how partnerships flourish. That's how everything kind of like just gels and works together.
Dude, you hit on some really key points, is letting them fail and just listen. Listen is such a huge component, because sometimes people just want to get things out. They don't really want a solution to it. They just want to be heard. And I know for me, I'm constantly, even with my kids, you're always in fix mode, right? Like you want to fix, you want to protect. But sometimes, again, you just got to let them fail at it and wait for them to come to you. And when they do come to you, just listen and just be relatable, sharing yourself in a similar instance to say, hey, I kind of went through this situation, and this is what I did. But again, like you said, this is a new age. The way you dealt with things maybe not work with that individual or that kid, based on how they're living in 2020 and the things that they're seeing that, that probably wasn't even back as far as social media and all this instant gratification like we talked about earlier. There's some things that, coaches, teachers, parents listening, they didn't go through. And, we got to have that leeway. I think the word connecting is the best way to leave that at, is there's lots of ways to connect, and dude, that's really good stuff. And I know, again, man, there's somebody's listening right now. I'm vibing with this guy. I really enjoyed what he shared on this episode. I want to reach out to him. I want to learn more about Manteo and just maybe even get him as a mentor. Can you share your contact information if there's someone want to reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. My name kind of holds a lot of weight, and so I just use that for everything because it's just so easy. So all of my handles are just Manteo Mitchell. That's Manteo Mitchell. Of course, put the @ symbol in front. That you can find me on almost every social platform.
It's not hard to find.
I don't use all of them, but for the most part, I try to answer everybody. It may not be right away, but I do actually take a part of my week each week to make sure that I reach out and reach back to everyone as soon as I can at my earliest convenience. So because you never know, there could be somebody right there just waiting for a blessing, and you could be a blessing for them in some kind of capacity. So I try to do my best on that. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, I guess Twitter, whatever. So yeah, you guys can reach me there.
Beautiful. And last thing, what's new for Manteo? What's new to come for 2021? If to share with the audience.
Yeah. So I'm working on a few projects. I'm working on being working on a novel or being doing a book, trying to be like Chaz Jackson, man.
Hey man,
so we working on that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to touch base with you on that and get some insight on that.
Most definitely.
So working on that. Thinking about doing a children's book for sure, and then just something inspirational. Done a lot of talks and kind of like just bringing that into a book form, and kind of see where that goes. And then on the athletic side of things, I've pursued another career doing bobsled now. So a lot of people found out about that last week. So I'm doing that. A 2022 Olympic hopeful, I guess you can say that's kind of how you put that. So we're on track right now to do very well with that and make some history along the way. So just stay tuned, man. I kind of keep things touched until I know for sure, how things are going. But I think we're gonna make some history again. I think we will.
Dude, you're gonna do it. Dude, you're gonna write this book. You're gonna write even more. I see 2 or 3 coming out of you for sure. And there's so many other phenomenal things. You're a giant. You're an amazing individual. Thank you so much for blessing this platform with your presence, all your wisdom that you poured out. Dude, I vibe with you. I know the audience do as well. And dude, the sky's the limit for you. I know you're going to accomplish so many other things. I love using this quote that, we have to stand on the shoulders of giants to see further than our eyes can look. And you're definitely a giant. And there's so many young people, parents, coaches that's going to be standing on your shoulders. They already are, but there's so many others that you're going to inspire through your story and all the things that God's got planned for you moving forward. So, dude, I'm excited to see what's going to be going down in Manteo Mitchell's world in the next decade. Man, I know you're going to conquer some amazing things moving forward.
Oh yeah,
outside of what
and so are you, man. We got to do it together, man.
Most definitely, man. You always got me in your corner, and
likewise,
we're going to continue to try to make a better world for our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids. So we'll continue to break those chains and just be a positive light to the world. But
for sure.
But again, thank you. Sure. I'm gonna lead us out, man. All
right.
All right, I told each and every one of you episode 25 was going to be epic. Thanks, Manteo, for blessing us with his time and his effort once again. I want each and every one of you to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. I want each and every one of you to keep that crown on your heart. And please remember this one thing. We are God's echo. I love each and every one of you.
Thank you for listening to GNG Podcast. Remember, you are gifted differently to make a difference. Please visit ChazJacksonSpeaks.org and let's continue to grow together. God bless.